The job of the gatekeeper primarily is to prevent the boss from being needlessly bothered. Emphasis on needlessly bothered. Their job is to keep people out who should not take up their time. So they're going to screen the callers. And most of them are really, really good. They actually have the ability to determine who talks to their boss. And they have this one surefire question that they ask. Yep. May I tell them what this call is regarding, please? And I don't know why that call just shakes us to our core. Am I right? How many times have you heard that question? Dozens, if not hundreds. Why does every time we hear it, we like, ah. So, guess what? We have just sent them an email. So now, and we're responding like we said. So what would be our response to that question?
I'm calling to follow up on my email.
Yeah. I'm calling to follow up on the email that I sent him, and I said that I would call him today, and I'm just doing as I committed. Could you put me through, please? So that email helps make it a warm call instead of a cold call. Now, they may give you some resistance. You can pretty much plan on it. They have to do their job. And the number of attempts to screen you is going to be placed on the importance they place on your call. That's why it's important for you to sound confident, like you are a professional, you do this all the time, you know what you're doing, that your call is expected. If you sound like you don't have a clue why you're calling or you're not quite sure who to talk to, you're in trouble. Their radar is going to go up and they're going to ask you a ton more questions. Also, their skill in screening you is going to be based on the frequency of sales professionals that call at that level, as well as the quality of sales professionals that call at that level. So if they don't get that many calls, they aren't going to be as good at screening you. If they get a lot of calls, they're going to be much better at screening you. If they get a lot of calls from really good sales professionals, you just met the mother of all gatekeepers, and it's on. Okay? So you're going to have to be on your game. Now, there's an old rule called, that basically goes like this. Whoever is asking the questions is in control. Whoever is asking the questions is in control. So they know that by asking you questions consistently, continuously, that will help them quickly determine if you're worth talking to in regards to their boss. The tougher a gatekeeper is to get through, as a rule, the easier the boss is. She knows she has to be tough in order to protect him or her. And what I've also found is the easier a gatekeeper is to get through, that's because that boss can hold his or her own. So now if I have a very challenging gatekeeper, this is a technique that I've kind of developed. Doesn't work every time. I would say 85% of the time, it helps me get through. Nothing I teach you works every time. If it did, I'd be charging a whole lot more for this course. Okay? But this is something, let's say Marita was the gatekeeper and she was trying to keep me out, and we've gone back and forth a few times. So at some point, I would say, you know, by the way, Marita, I really appreciate what you do, and you're really good at what you do. I realize it's your job to keep Mr. Holmes from being needlessly bothered. At the same time, suppose for a moment we had some ideas that were exclusive to us that could help with these growth and expansion plans throughout the western cities. Do you think he'd at least want to know about them? Okay, that's exactly why I just need to speak to him for just a few moments. Could you put me through, please? How did that sound? Did it sound like I was being mean to her?
No.
But what I just did was I put a lot of pressure on her. You know, I said, I understand, first of all, I acknowledged what she was doing, and I showed appreciation. And I did acknowledge that we had some ideas that were potentially exclusive to us that could help with their growth initiative and expansion plans. And was she going to be willing to take that on herself to keep Mr. Holmes from knowing about it, or do you think it might be best for him to hear it and then make that determination? It doesn't work all the time, but it works a good portion of the time in helping me get through to that individual.